Let's go.
So today's guest is Christopher. Welcome to the show, Christopher.
Thank you very much, Anthony. Pleasure being here.
Christopher is a professional speaker, a peak performance coach, learning disabilities advocate. Christopher helps students, teachers, entrepreneurs, and organizations to surpass their greatest challenges to become the best versions of themselves. Thank you for being on the show, Christopher. I appreciate it.
Yo, my pleasure, man. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Oh, yes. So can you give the listeners a little bit about how you got to where you are right now as a speaker and an advocate and stuff like that?
Yeah, thank you for that. So essentially what happened was my previous career was in real estate as a broker. And when I was in that career, it was going really good. And it was beginning 2017. My speech therapist that used to follow me in high school gave me a call to ask me a question about real estate for her property that she owned. And after a few minutes of the conversation, she's like, Chris, how are you doing? And at that point, I was in the peak of my career. Financially, it was going great. I was winning awards in that industry. I was like, cloud nine. Everything was going great. And after a few minutes that I ranted her about all the great things that were happening in my life, she's like, Chris, that is amazing. She's like, I'm the keynote speaker at this event put together by the Learning Disability Institute of Quebec. I would love if you come and explain your past as a dyslexic in the education system and as well a dyslexic who is an entrepreneur. I'm like, yes, absolutely. I would love that. So that same evening, after we hang up the phone, she writes me an email saying in the subject letter, Chris, I don't think you should come do this speech because there's still a lot of people that have certain negative ideas about people with learning disabilities. Now, I know she was coming from a place of love. She was really writing that to protect me. And I wrote to her, I'm like, listen, Bridget, I actually think I should do this speech. I'll give you a call Monday to talk about it. Monday rolls around, give her a call, and I explained that, listen, if I don't do this speech, I'm not helping the kids that are on the school bench, the next generation, and my future kids, which is something hereditary. And I'm like, I'm not somebody fake. I have to go up there and say this. And I'm like, if ever I lose clients because of that, those are not clients that I want to work with. She's like, oh my God, I understand. She's like, I agree with you. I just wanted to come from you. So the day comes around, bro. That was the first ever speech I did. Ended up being in front of 1,000 people. The Ministry of Education was there of Quebec, a bunch of other schools, newspaper outlets. And that moment for me was kind of my aha moment. Like our creator had put me on this planet to do this. And I really realized that's how I could serve others and give back. So that's really how my speaking career came about. That's how my learning disability advocation really started, because I kind of dove into that and really has been speaking about that and helping any students that have difficulties with that and any teachers or any organizations. And that's really on the philanthropy side. That's not where my whole business lies, because most of it is through coaching and professional speaking. I go speak, like you mentioned, in companies, organizations, really on peak performance and how to get the competitive edge in business and in life. So that's like the shorter / long version of how that process started.
Yep, that's awesome. So I wanted to ask, a lot of people, when they have challenges or they're given something that says, okay, you have this issue, a lot of people just deal with it and give up and say, okay, I can't do something because of that. How do you use that issue or challenge to overcome to get to that next step?
Yeah, good. That's a great question, Anthony. And to be quite honest, it's a process. Like if I'm sitting in front of you today as the man that I am at 30 years old, I could easily say that my dyslexia or any type of difficulty that I've had and have is one of my greatest strengths, because that's only getting me stronger for the next level, right? But as a kid, as a young man, or at any point in my life, when a difficulty really hits in the beginning, you have a hard time understanding that. And that's what it was. So there was definitely a learning curve, like almost being like, why me? And why is this happening? And all this stuff, and trying to figure out what that aspect was. And really, as you grow, you mature, you really understand that life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. And once you have that mentality, then you could really see, what is life trying to teach me? So you could be in the worst case scenario right now, which is financial, physical, mental, family. I don't know what situation people are going through. It could be the worst thing ever. And at that specific moment, you don't know what life is trying to tell you. You could only see it when it's done. And then you look back at it, you're like, yo, I would never relive that, but I would never not live it either, because I learned this. So with that mindset, with that understanding, This is how you could look at any problem that comes in front of you and you're like, all right, this is a stepping stone. This is really happening for me to teach me something. So if you have that mindset and you shifted it that way, any difficulty that comes in front of you, you don't even see it as a difficulty. You just see it as an opportunity for major growth. That's the truth.
Exactly. In my field, real estate investors, I hear quite a bit, oh, there's no deals, or there's not enough deals, but that's just a challenge or an opportunity to find creative ways. Everybody has issues. Everybody has struggles.
Yes.
Like you said, that mindset, you shift it to what opportunity is being presented to me, then it takes off from there. That's awesome.
And let me just add on to that. I love the fact that you just mentioned something that in your industry, which is real estate investing, which I'm very much a part of as well as a realtor. And now, as you know, more on the speaking side, but I still have my hands in real estate because I truly have a passion for real estate. You just use the vocabulary there. The people say, oh, there isn't enough of this, or there are all the good times have passed, or it was back in the day. Now we're in this, or whatever the case is. Whatever you believe is actually your reality. So your perception of the world is in fact your reality of that perception, even though we know that that's not the reality. So if somebody goes ahead and says, yeah, there's no deals, real estate deals. Yeah, you're not going to get any real estate deals. There's no real estate deals for you, but for everybody else there is. So it's really, you have to be careful of the vocabulary use. And we see with some people as well, you know, in relationships, they're like, oh my God, there isn't any, you know, good girl anymore. There isn't any good guy anymore. Everybody's like this, everybody's like that. If you're saying that, you're going to attract that. So we have to be really acutely aware of vocabulary use because that plays a role. And we can even go to the scientific side behind this. Go look at the work of Dr. Emoto, the Japanese doctor that did the work with the words that he uses, with the water, how it forms, and he does some example with rices and whatever. We could really jump into that with the biochemistry of the brain as well, which is something I teach a lot in my keynotes and in my coaching sessions as well. So not only what we're saying is just saying it, there's actual science that backs up everything. So when we say talk positively, it's not this hula la thing. There's science that backs it, and we could go into it step by step.
I truly believe that. I definitely believe that, even first-hand experience. And to add on to that, I saw a hypnotist, and I'm not big into hypnotists. I just said, okay, what can I learn? Like, there's opportunity to learn.
Yeah.
And what he said was, whatever your belief is will dictate your experience. Yeah. So if you believe in that moment to whatever was happening with that hypnotist, you will have that experience of that moment. It's the same in real estate and life in general. Your belief will help you with your experience. That also goes into my next step as in personal growth. Like, how can someone help themselves change their belief system to have a different personal outgrowth or out perspective in life to better themselves and better people around them?
So, man, I think that is amazing. I truly believe it's everybody's duty to do that. It's their responsibility to do that. And it's their duty to succeed in life. And it goes through that in self-development and personal development. And we're so lucky. Like, we're in 2019 right now, man. What are the chances? We're talking over Zoom right now. We're doing a podcast. There's so many great opportunities to learn. Towards is it going watching a YouTube video, podcast interview? Towards is going seeing workshops, seminars. I mean, it's all out there. Like, there's so many ways. Audiobooks. There's so many ways for people to develop. People are actually thriving and trying to get their marketing skills to really attract you. So just be open to receive that information, because they're all out there. So the best thing I could really suggest is go listen to those superstars. I mean, those people that we all know, the Tony Robbins, the Gary Vaynerchuks, whoever you're really into in your industry or not, and go find them through their social media, through their networkings. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself. It's really important. Invest in yourself in programs, in coaching, in mentors. These are things that will literally cut the learning curve in half. It's one of the greatest things I've done. I have actually 8 coaches and mentors, and it saved me freaking from like so many mistakes in life. And so much so, I literally got these people to really get me to a high level. And I never thought it would get me to the level that I'm the one that became a coach. I'm the one that I'm teaching now. And it just happened so organically. It's just because I was such a nerd about self-development. It's a true passion, and I'm still always something that passions me. This is why I became it. So yeah, I definitely suggest people to go out there and get it. And there's different ways to go get it. Like we mentioned a few of them right now.
Exactly. I believe that. To add on to it is like the saying is go whoever your your network is, it'll be your personal growth. It is your net worth.
100%. Yeah.
Just like you
100%.
said, having a mentors, or even if you don't have a mentor, just learning from people around you. Your surroundings will elevate your surroundings phenomenally. That's what I've done personally as myself, is hang out with people like you and others on
Yes.
guests on the show.
That plays a huge role. Truly does. Truly does. Because the honest truth is, millionaires don't think the same as, middle class people. Billionaires don't think the same way as millionaires, and so on and so forth. Now we're talking about financially, right? That's one aspect. It's not only about finances. People that are spiritually enlightened don't think the same way as other people. People that believe in one thing don't think of other people. So it's really important for you to expose yourself to other types of people and really acutely be aware and listen to the vocabulary they use. Listen to the way they act. See what they are doing. And then from there, just sponge it up, bro. Sponge it up. Just like you're saying, just like you're doing when you went to go see this hypnotist. You're like, it's not necessarily my thing, but you told yourself, what can I learn? And you picked up that golden nugget. Mm-hmm. Understand that every single human being you cross path with, you could learn from them. I don't care if it's a homeless on the street. I guarantee you could teach you something. The only thing is, try to find people that they could teach you so much more than the other way around. That's the only thing. But understand right off the bat, every single human being could teach you, and you could probably teach every single human being. So if you put yourself in that position, then you're already at a different vibratory level.
Exactly. It's about giving back. That's the reason I like about real estate and about being people like you, is because you learn so much, but then you also got to give back, because not everybody knows everything.
No.
It's just impossible. But when you give back, you actually receive a lot more in return. But that's like ways down the line, sometimes unexpectedly.
Preach, Anthony, preach. That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. And that's the honest truth, man. That's one of the things I truly live by. Is one thing is, I don't know nothing, because every single time I learn something new, I realize how much I don't know about that thing. And second thing is, I will always learn. Now I'm saying this with a humble opinion of, I have quite a bit of knowledge. People pay me quite a significant amount of money to go speak to them and whatever the case is. And I'm blessed for all of that. But if you put yourself in a humble situation that you know so little in all the information in the world, it's physically, like we just said, impossible for you to learn everything. And it's not supposed to be that you learn everything. You're supposed to choose something and become an expert at that thing. 1 or 2 at most, maybe 3. But once you put yourself in that humble situation, then you are ready to receive the world as a student and truly be in a position of contributing. Like you said, the highest form of gratitude and fulfillment is through contribution. And we could even talk to that, bro. I went through the hard difficulties of making money and being super happy with that, and then realizing, wait a minute, is there something else? There was like something missing. And you realize that just chasing the financial number doesn't cut it. You have to contribute. And once you start contributing, and like you said, you could be giving to somebody and they don't necessarily give you back. It doesn't matter. Some way, somehow, the universe is always going to give it back to you in another way. That's when you truly feel fulfilled. And if we talk about our friend Tony Robbins, he says it. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. So be acutely aware. Are you contributing? Are you helping your cause, your family, your company, your city, your environment?
Yep. I totally agree. To add on to that purpose is, a lot of people try and find some ways to give back. Some of them is financially, some of them is just donated in time. But others, they want to find their purpose or their why to what they're doing to be able to give back. How does someone find their purpose in whatever they feel like they're doing?
Man, that's a great question. Honestly, I don't think there's one specific answer. And I don't necessarily think it's something you chase or you necessarily find. It's kind of something that culminates between you being somewhere and it finding you, and you being aware that that is the situation. Now, that kind of seems vague. Let me add on to that and really unbox that concept. So first and foremost, I look at it as your passion is probably something that you're willing to do for free. If you're willing to do it for free, then you're passionate about it. Then you could probably be extremely good at it, and then the market will pay you for that. If you are in that situation, then you're winning right off the bat. If we're talking about, like, I want to find my purpose in life for business or for life or whatever the case is, that's the way that I kind of went about it. I started doing something for free. Speaking, I spoke so much for free until I really got to a certain level. And then people are like, yo, let me start paying you for this because there's value. And I was willing to do it for free in the beginning because it was super fun, and I still am because I truly love it. Now, it just so happens that you're at a point that you get paid for your services, right? So if you are in that situation, you're winning right off the bat. And the best way to find that as a young person, I would say like anybody that's like out of college, before college, like in the early 20s to even late 20s, even maybe early 30s, try as much as things possible. Try one thing, try another. It's the only way you really going to figure out if you like something. You have to try things, try this, try that. And then once you find that reality, like I said, it's not even you're finding it, it's finding you. And then you realize that whole thing that you were like, oh my God, this is my purpose. Your whole life, it's been telling you that that was your purpose. You just hadn't noticed. And it's been telling you in such small, discrete ways. Only once you realize that, oh my God, this is why I'm here, or in some form of way, or this is what I have to do for this specific thing, then you start realizing my life has been trying to tell me this my whole life. That's what's kind of beautiful about it. So yeah, it's kind of in between with that.
Yep. I totally agree. Is trying that new things, trying something different than the norm. This is how you actually grow. Like a lot of people just do one thing that they like and stick with it till the end of time. But when you actually experiment or try something differently, go down a different route, you never know. You might find a abandoned property that's be for super cheap down that way, or some different opportunities could present themselves if you try something new.
100%. And that's with your business and with your personal life, with your romantic life, with every aspect of your life. Always challenge yourself, right? And if you're not challenging yourself, then you're not truly growing. Like pain is a necessity for growth. It's that simple as that. So once you understand that concept, you know that, okay, if I'm feeling pain for the moment, it means I must be doing something good in some way, shape, or form. So you just have to be acutely aware. Is this the good pain? All right, cool. Let's keep on pushing. Let's keep on developing. Because the more you push, that pain in itself is going to become more and more uncomfortable. And then you push it some more, and then you push it some more. And then really your comfort zone becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's the goal in itself. You want to flirt with that uncomfortable zone right before the danger zone. If you're flirting in there your whole life, in every aspect of your life, you're just going forward with more love, empathy, and joy and fulfillment. That's what I truly believe.
Exactly. For me, being like the athletes, they work out when they're actually building muscle. The muscles actually tear down before they actually build yourself to become even stronger. It's like the comfort zone.
100%.
You got to push that limit, push your comfort zone to tear down that muscle. Then after the experience is over, it's not as bad as you think. It's actually more enjoyable than you actually thought it would be.
100%. So that's exactly it. And great example over there, Anthony, with the working out. When you do work out, you seek failure. All you're seeking is really to rip your muscle tissues. And once it rips, it brings you an opportunity to get protein and to get other elements in there to really grow and become stronger. So it's the same concept. You are seeking failure. So once you understand that, seek failure in a positive way, and then you really see that in a positive light. So you're not even afraid of it. You're actually waiting for it. Mm-hmm. So it's just a mind shift towards that, and you really see what kind of success comes your way. It's beautiful.
Oh, yes, I totally agree. So we'll talk about mindset. A lot of people, like I mentioned earlier, they say there's not enough deals, but how does like abundance or the law of attraction help somebody in coaching or in real estate in general, help them to achieve that next level they're trying to achieve or their next goal?
So the law of attraction it's real. It truly is real. I don't know what else to say. And everything that I have in my life, I've manifested it. The only thing I could tell you is that it hasn't happened in the time that I thought it was going to happen. Either it's happened before or after, but it has always happened. Now, how can you use that to your advantage? There's so many things that I teach about that because, like I said, everything we're talking about, I could back it up with science. And if we just talk about the law of attraction, I'm going to explain to you how the brain works in certain aspects. So your brain usually has different brain waves, okay? The first brainwave, which is the highest frequency of brainwave, which it's gamma. Now that brainwave with gamma, it's when you have an amazing idea. So imagine you have an aha moment, then you have a lot of form of gamma. After gamma, it's beta. Beta is the state that we're in right now. We're both awake, we're both conscious, we're having this conversation. After that, it's alpha. In state of alpha, you're a bit more relaxed. Maybe it's the end of the day. Maybe you're popping open a glass of scotch. Maybe you're chilling a bit. You're relaxing. Maybe you're starting to meditate. That's your alpha. Then it goes into your theta. Theta is when you're going in and out of consciousness. Example, right before going to bed. Example, you're on the beach. You're on vacation. You feel the sun hitting your face. You hear kids running around on the beach. You know you're where you are, but you're kind of going in and out of consciousness. And finally, it's your state of delta, completely knocked out. Now, why am I saying this? I'm teaching you guys a great lesson over here. We have to understand anything, if you want it to succeed and really manifest it into reality, it goes through your unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind controls like above 85% of the reality that you create. Now, to go to your unconscious mind, you have to go through your conscious mind to get there. You have to see your unconscious mind as like the earth, and the conscious being the gardener that is putting the seed, watering the seed, helping it grow with the sunlight and all that stuff. Now, why am I telling you the brainwaves? Because when you're in a state of alpha and theta, which is the state of relaxation, almost going in and out of consciousness, that is the moment that your mind is the most absorbent. That is the moment that you have a direct access to your unconscious mind. So when you are in those states, imagine going to sleep. Start imagining what you want to create. Those are the moments that you should have some visualization practices and some beliefs. Let me bring it one step closer, okay? Like I'm really going to break it down for you guys, like on a blueprint. You can't go wrong with this. What I teach my coaching clients and my people when I go on stage, when you go to sleep, I want you to think of three things. First and foremost is your physical health. Yeah, write this down, brother. This is going to be good for you. So first and foremost is your physical health. I want you to create a movie. Not just think about it. Create a movie and add emotion towards it, because your body and your unconscious mind reacts to emotion. So I want you to wake up, see yourself in the physique that you have and be proud of that. Look like, yo, I'm a guy from freaking Gladiator or whatever. Like, just imagine this persona and just live it. I want you to feel what it feels like to be that person that you want, which is that amazing shape or that beautiful girl, whoever you are, that situation. So think of your health. Second thing is I want you to think of your connections, your family life. I want you to create this movie in your mind of how do you want your connections to be with your loved ones, with your significant other, or with your kids, and just create that and really live into that moment. Feel that energy, because the mind does not know the difference between reality and fiction. And whatever is fiction, he will create it into reality because he doesn't know the difference. Once you feel something, he doesn't know if you're doing it or not. He just knows feelings. And finally, the third thing, I want you to think of your work. What is your job? What do you want to manifest? So if you're thinking about, I want to be, Anthony, a phenomenal real estate investor, I want you to already imagine what it would feel like to have 30 properties, 50 properties, 100 doors around the United States, all over Australia, all over wherever you want. I want you to feel what that would feel like. I want you to feel what it would be when you're talking to clients and really live into that moment. Create this scenario, this belief, man, this scene really. And once you create that at that specific moment, right before going to sleep, you are putting it in your unconscious mind. And then there's something, I'm going to keep on ranting, bro, because I feel like I'm giving you some awesome value right here. There's something in your mind right behind the prefrontal cortex, not too far. It's called the reticular activating system. The reticular activating system is your filter of your brain, okay? So right now we see over 2 million elements at a time. And every single element that we see, your mind doesn't have the capacity to take all that information. He only gives you the information that he thinks is pertinent to you. Let me give you an example. You probably bought a car. The first time you bought that car, super cool, you get into it, you drive out of the dealership, and then you notice that same car in a different color, few lights ahead. And then you see it again, and then you see it again. And you're like, what the hell? I've never seen this car before. Now I'm seeing it all the time. It's because for a long time you were thinking about that car. You were checking what engine, what horsepower, what wheels, what color, what leather you wanted to buy. So your reality was only that car. So your reticular activating system thinks and assumes that that's important for you. So every time he spots that car, he tells you, hey, Anthony, look at that car. Hey, Anthony, look at that car. Now let me take it back to the 3 stories before going to sleep. If you place these 3 stories in your mind, your unconscious mind, your reticular activating system will always be looking for this results. So as you're living your day, he's always going to be unconsciously looking for those real estate deals. He's going to be looking for your future wife. He's going to be looking for that physical health that you want. And this is how you create it. So right there, I literally gave you the blueprint of how to work the law of attraction. It's not just hula la. This is literally how you do it. If you did not understand it, re-listen to this little soundbite. I truly, I've been creating all my abundance through this, and I'm not the only one. I've learned this from highly more successful people than me. This is the way to go about it.
I completely agree. I've done it personally, sometimes unconsciously and sometimes intentionally. Like I've snowboarded myself. I live in Minnesota, so when you got like 9 months of winter, you gotta do something. So I go and snowboard. And I one day I remember just sitting down and drawing the snowboard, and completely forgot about it. Then I went to go help a friend and change her oil. And as a thank you, she gave me a snowboard, and it was almost to the T of what I drew down. Like I drew the snowboard, had
Yeah,
two stickers on each end, and then I looked at it, I'm like, I imagined this, and I drew it down, and it came to life.
that's exactly it.
The power of the mind is so phenomenal. Sometimes we take it for granted. It's amazing.
It's not even, we take it for granted. We don't even know what kind of power it is. I truly believe it's the eighth continent that we haven't discovered yet. And slowly now, I feel like we're kind of getting a user's manual. Go look it up. This is why I study so much the mind. It's because it's the most interesting thing to me. Once you understand how that works, then you're able to use it to your advantage, really use the aspect. Because right now, we've been taught something, but maybe we've been pressing on the brake our whole life thinking it's the gas, but then they're like, oh, wait a minute, by reading the manual, realize, oh no, the brake is not the one on the left. The gas is not the one on the left, it's the one on the right.
Yep.
So once you have your foot on the gas, it's so much easier to go forward in life.
Oh yes. That's like one of the reasons a lot of well-known people, athletes, entrepreneurs, comedians all have what they say a vision board. I have one in my room, like all over everywhere. Is because when you intentionally see it out over and over and over, like you mentioned, it eventually comes to life.
100%. This is it. This is it, man. Speak the truth, bro. I love it.
So that lead into my next question. I love seeing your book reviews on YouTube. It's awesome.
Yo.
One of the questions I want to ask you is knowledge power?
Knowledge is power. Not only knowledge is power, knowledge is money, like straight up. The more knowledge you earn, the more skills you earn, that will culminate direct income. And not only that, it is the power. So it's all linked up. The more I have learned in life, the more information I have consumed and then understood and then realized how to bring it out to somebody else, I've become more and more financially free. I've become more and more connected with myself, with my inner beliefs, with my values, with my family, with my loved ones. Everything is with that. So yes, man. And we're so blessed. We're so blessed that we have access to all this information. You don't even need to be going to university. You can go to Coursera and get these like university courses. You could like, not even just university, like books, this, that. Like, I mean, there's so many things out there right now. You just have to be willing to go and get that information and spend some time out there. Structure yourself. Don't spend just time on Netflix. And there's nothing wrong with Netflix. It has its place, but you have to be, real with yourself. Look at yourself. Like, wait a minute, how am I spending my time? Because everybody says this, right? Like all the successful people have the same 24 hours as us. Really understand how you're spending it.
Exactly. When you take account of what your actions are for the day, are they lining up with your goals? Because personally, I used to watch TV, YouTube, Netflix, and then I eventually moved and I have no TVs. I have my laptop, which is have YouTube on it, but that's it. So I have no other things to do but work, and you get phenomenal outcomes from doing that.
That's it, bro. Take away. Like, you want to be successful, bro. You want to be like, get a work done, go away, go in a cabin by yourself, get some work done, and like come back. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of connectivity, because if without connectivity, we wouldn't be having this conversation. People wouldn't be hearing us speak and just having this great time right now. But it's like anything. It's a balance, right? Like, I go and I cook and I have this beautiful chef knife. With that chef knife, I could literally kill somebody, but at the same time, I could make a great meal. So it really depends on how you use it. The same thing with alcohol, bro. We could have a nice cheers, take a glass, and enjoy yourselves. But if you start drinking every single morning, every single evening, and then day after day after day, maybe we're talking about something you have an issue with, right? So everything's a balance. And this is what this whole universe of connectivity, we have to figure out as well. There is a balance towards that.
Exactly. Finding that balance is key. It's very key.
Yeah. It's difficult too. Well, let's not lie. It really is difficult. It's something that truly, that I personally, is something that I'm striving for. And one of my greatest, learning opportunities, because there is some difficulty for me on that end, but it's definitely something that you have to go towards. It's the only way you're going to succeed. And it's something I coach all my clients towards, something that I help them with all of that, how to get clarity to really figure out where are we lacking and where can we improve. And, just by having that mindset, it's a bit difficult because you're in front of your difficulties. Nobody likes that. But once you position yourself like that every single time, you'll succeed. It's truly as simple as that.
As so true. Because even personally, with me having a 4-year-old daughter, she's like my main why into other
Yes.
stuff that I do. So when I spend time with her, I gotta be in the moment, be present. Okay, this
Yes.
is why I'm doing a lot of stuff that's outside of my
Yes.
time with her. Is that
Yes.
fine balance? Like you said, it's hard.
It is.
Sometimes like, okay, I gotta work, but sometimes I gotta remind myself she's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yes. I love that, Anthony. And you said it, bro. The secret, I truly believe one of the secret sauces is living in the present moment. It's the most powerful thing you could do. It's literally your guide to enlightenment. There's a book actually called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. He speaks about that. And I actually have, like you mentioned, a book review series on my YouTube channel at Christopher Dedeyan YouTube. And I did a book review on that one. Definitely suggest people to go check that out. Really, if you live in that moment of why, it will help you up in every sense of the way. Because honestly, your mind, unfortunately, sometimes doesn't want you to succeed. When you're in that state, he doesn't want you to be in the now. Because the moment that he could control is the past and the future. Because if you think about the past, it's something that's tangibly happened, but he could shift it around because you forgot certain things or whatever the case is. If you're thinking about the future, he's only creating that with his mind, so he could stress you on some negative thoughts or whatever the case is. But if you're in the present moment, your mind is not needed for that present moment. You're in that moment. And the mind kind of freaks out when he doesn't have that control. So if you really are able to sit down and be mindful of that moment with your daughter at the park or just doing homework or whatever the case is, and that's your real reason of being and enjoying it with all of your fiber, then you're winning in life. And that's where the battle comes, how to balance that. And the balance in itself, I'm going to continue on this little rant here, is not 50-50. Your balance is whatever you want it to be and whatever you are in your life. Me, like I said, I'm a single man working on my business, and this is like amazing. And I have very great family and friendships around me, but that's a lower part of my percentage of where I'm at right now. Let's say, imagine like 20% is that, and the rest is on my self-development, business, and all this stuff. Once I find a wife, get married, get kids, that balance is going to change. It's like it's just normal life because I want to be an amazing father, amazing husband, and all that stuff. So then you just shift it. And once again, it's whatever you make it to be. But balance is not 50-50 in this situation. You just have to be aware of what your balance is at that specific moment of the life that you're living right there and now. So yeah.
Exactly. So true. I agree 100%. Like I hear quite a bit from entrepreneurs. They want that work-life balance. And I heard like people like you mentioned before, like Gary Vee, he said there is no work-life balance. Like you said, it's what you want at that moment because your life is completely different from somebody else's. So whatever makes you happy for that moment is what you should strive for.
Exactly. It's a choice.
So that leads into my next question. How does somebody help find their emotional home or find that emotional balance that they should strive for in their life?
Nice. Okay, cool. I love the fact that you said emotional home. Is that something that you saw through my work? Is that something I truly, okay, cool. I'm like, so that's something I really talk about with my clients and my seminars and all this stuff. So emotional home is a concept that I've been working on. And essentially it's, you decide where you want your emotional home to be. So my emotional home is I want happiness. I want joy. I want fulfillment. I want love. I want, just success, all of these things. Now that happiness and all that stuff, can I live there 100% of the time? No, it's impossible. We're humans. We're beautiful in our imperfections. But I could decide how much I want to live there. So if I decide I want to live there 95% of the time, that's great. 5% of the time, I allow it to be negative, anxiety, this, stress, overwhelm, all this bullshit, let's call it, right?
Yep.
Now, the thing is, when that negativity comes, embrace it, appreciate it, because you can't feel the highs if you don't get those lows, but put a structure with it. So if you get something that's bad in your business or family life or whatever the situation is, embrace it, put a time frame on it. Imagine if it's something like, all right, cool, let me be mad for 5 minutes. Be mad for 5 minutes, and then afterwards it's done. You've already decided, you previously made a contract with yourself that you want to be 95% in your emotional home of happiness, joy, love, and respect, and you go towards there. Now, use an example of 5 minutes. Obviously, it depends on the situation. If some situation takes more time, perfect, take more time, but structure that time. Where it becomes dangerous, it's when you don't structure and you're like, oh my God. And then one problem leads to, day two, that problem that happened on Monday, it's still bothering you on Friday. And then at the end of the month, you're like, oh my God, remember in the beginning of the month, I had this deal and it fell through and I could have made so much money. And this guy took it, he's such this, he's like, and you're still talking about it. That negative energy, you could have translated towards something positive and made 2-3 transactions more. So it's really being acutely aware where you're putting your energy. So that's your emotional home. And that works with every aspect of your life.
Exactly. It's so true. Like we mentioned before, is that balance. Like you said, it's like you spend 5 minutes. I heard somewhere it was like 5 minutes or 5 years. If it doesn't matter to you in 5 years from now, don't spend more than 5 minutes on it. Because like you said, it's irrelevant. It's at that moment, but get over it.
That's
balance.
That is truly it. And Anthony, tell me something, bro. How about you? How did you get into this self-development side of yourself and getting into this whole thing, man?
I want to say with personal awareness.
Okay.
Just being aware of where I'm at and where I want to go. Like for me, I'm striving for financial freedom, not only for myself, but for like my daughters and my family around me, my brothers, to show them what can be possible. Not just, okay, I have this big house in this beautiful state. It's to show them what can be done. Like for my daughter, for her to have a dad that works for himself, makes his own moves, and also travel the world and have these experiences. That's why I decided to become an entrepreneur in general. And it's also to help others, because I like helping people. That's why I'm doing a podcast. It's not to help myself, but it's also to help others as well, as many people as I can along this path. That's a good question.
Nice, Anthony, man. Keep it up, brother. I appreciate that. I like that. That's the way, bro. Because like you said, I don't know your situation or whatever the case is, but if you show the people the way, then they start believing that it's real and it can happen for themselves. It's really a mindset thing. So if you're showing it that, oh man, you did it. Oh shit, my older brother did it. Oh man, my father did it. Then why isn't it possible for me? And then the next question is, what can I do more? How can I live in my light? How can I bring my happiness into this world? And then if every single human being does that, plays with their gifts, then as a society we'll get better, bro, with more love, with more empathy, with more happiness, with more fulfillment. And that will create a better society in itself.
That's what I'm striving for. That's why I'm doing what I do.
Bro. Keep it up, man.
I love it. So that would lead to my next question. How does someone in their own mind become extraordinary? I know because I connected with you by Trevor McGregor, and that's on his 7 ladders. Is one of his steps is to be extraordinary. Well, I want to hear from you. How can someone achieve that?
Great question, man. So yeah, his ladder of success and playing above the line. Yes, very much aware of that. I know that, me and Trevor being colleagues on so many things, and just really close on that end. So how could somebody be extraordinary? I think the best way to go about that is have a worthy ideal and work towards that worthy ideal. What I mean is that having that purpose, having that goal, and that goal is rooted within you, and knowing that it's not only there to help you, but to give value for so many other people, then you are going to be extraordinary because you're in a position to give. You're in a position to help. And if you're in that position, you're only going towards the right direction. And that is with anybody. If your goal is to be that mother and your goal is just to be that amazing mother, for me, you're successful. You're going to become extraordinary at that. If your goal is to be somebody that's going to cut the grass and that's only thing, your true passion, you love that smell of fresh cut grass and you work just towards that, you're going to be extraordinary. So it's whatever your true reason of being is, you find it and you work towards that, that's your direction towards extraordinary, which is success in my eyes.
Awesome answer. Awesome answer. I love it.
Yes.
When you're passionate about what you're doing, that's how you eventually become extraordinary.
Yo, that's what's up. That's what's up. Like, there's no other way, to be quite honest, because like, especially in the entrepreneur world, especially in the real estate investing world and whatever the case is, it's a lonely world when you're by yourself, all right? And more you succeed, I swear to God, in certain levels, it's beautiful because you get people around you, you build a team, you have this, you have that. But if you're the head honcho of that, you're still the one that's responsible for all those things. So whatever decision gets done, you're responsible for it. So it does still have that loneliness part of it. So if you're not in love, like, I mean, truly in love with what you are doing, like passionate within your core that you're speaking to somebody and you're like, it's coming out of you, people are like, yo, then you're not doing it right. Then you will not succeed. It's as simple as that, because the honest truth is, it is hard. So you have to have this crazy passion, this crazy like, all right, I'm doing the right thing for the right steps. Then you will be able to succeed and go through all those difficulties. We've talked about those bumps in the roads. But if you're doing something that's like, not for the right reasons, you're not going to succeed. Like if you're getting in this real estate game and the only purpose is to make the money, which truly a lot of people go into that for that, and which is perfectly okay. Like I went to personally, I swear to God, into real estate because of that. And I started making money and realized this is not it. That's how I did a huge shift in my life. I took a different direction, which was completely ballsy. Like the owner of my office, when I left, he's like, Chris, what are you doing? Like you're like you're one of my top agents, man. You're like real young up and comer. Like what's happening? And I'm like, no, I found my true passion. I found like where my calling was for that moment, and I had to jump on that. So that's the real thing. You have to be passionate. If not, you're not going to succeed at what you do.
Exactly. That's so true. Like you mentioned, when you're in this field or whatever you endure, it's going to get hard. It's going to get hard. I don't care if you're an artist or an entrepreneur or even a gardener. It's going to get hard. But when you're passionate about it, you kind of pursue through that pain. And then the reward on the other side is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's it. That's actually more worth it. Because if it was easy given to you, like I've seen people get it like instantly, like just like that, they don't appreciate it as much. I don't know what they really got. So there is some truth behind it. And if you ask anybody successful, you listen to their story, they don't talk about all the millions they have. They don't talk about this and that. They talk about the struggle to get there. It was the process. If you're just you want the feast, but you don't enjoy the hunt, you're doing it wrong. You have to enjoy that hunt. You have to enjoy the intricacies, the hustle, the this, the that, how to be, have more energy, like all of this. If you're interested in that, then the feast is going to come. And that's going to be part of the joy. But it's not going to be the end goal. It's not going to be just the joy. The journey is the actual joy. And it's hard to understand that when you're in the thick of things. I kid you not. Once shit is hitting the fan and you're thinking about this, you're like, yo, Chris told me you enjoy the journey, but shit's hitting the fan. Yeah, it's difficult, but it's really a part of the process.
Yeah, so true. So we're going to switch into my fire round. I got 3 questions for you before we end this conversation today. I'm grateful for you to be on the show.
Thank you, man.
The first question I got for you, what is your favorite late night snack?
Oh man. Okay. So I'm really structured, man. I actually do intermittent fasting, and I just started really a more whole food plant-based diet. So I really don't snack a lot, but if there's one thing that I truly could say is popcorn, bro. Like I make my own thing. I'm so happy that I could always like have my popcorn. But yeah, I'm very disciplined in every aspect of my life, and food is a part of it because I'm very athletic as well. Do a lot of CrossFit, do a lot of working out, running, and all that stuff. So I always try to perform at the highest level, and food has a huge importance, not only in the workout, but in your entrepreneurial journey. If you want to work more, if you want to be more energetic in everything you do, be really acutely aware of what you're putting in your mouth.
Exactly. I believe that. They say what you eat benefits your health and your mental altitude. So yes. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Second question for you. What is the book that has the most impact on you?
I mean, man, there's so many. Like, really, like it's hard to pinpoint one. I'm gonna name 2. Okay. So actually, I'm going to name 3, man. Like, if you allow it, I'm going to name a couple. So first and foremost is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I feel like that's like kind of like the holy Bible of self-development. Really, Napoleon Hill went and interviewed a bunch of successful people in the early 1900s, from Henry Ford to the presidents and all that stuff, and really, make it understood of how to succeed. And he says it's not do and grow rich, it's think and grow rich. So that whole part of the podcast we just recorded on your vibrations and how to activate your unconscious mind and how to work the law of attraction, go re-listen to that, because these are all things that were talked about in this book, but not the detail into the blueprint that we just talked about. So anyways, that's one. Second thing I love as well, Earl Nightingale, it's not Earl Nightingale, sorry, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. That's another staple in itself. And to take a little curveball, maybe a book that people don't know as much, is You Are the Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza. So those 3 books have really impacted me. And there's so many, I could name, like Pablo Coelho's You Are Alchemist, so many books. But yeah, the Dr. Joe Dispenza works is amazing because he really explains that the placebo effect is something that you can control and you should strive to control it. And really understand that whatever is within you, you could fix it yourself, and you could create with the quantum reality your life. And once you understand yourself that you are a co-creator with the universe, It's the most beautiful thing that could happen. I'm giving you long answers here, man. Sorry about that.
I love it. Don't be worried about it. I love it. I know the listeners love it as well. But that is so true. Like we talked about earlier, is everything starts with this. You're thinking. When you have
Yeah.
this set straight, and then when you like keep the continual improvements and continual improvement of your thinking and how you think and what you say, your life will change
Yeah.
phenomenally.
And just for the listeners that are listening to this on podcast, Anthony was pointing to his mind. So he's saying this, is your mind, which is absolutely correct.
So true. Last question before we get out of here. What do you like to do to help you relax from the day? Like your aha moment.
So I have several things, but the main thing that really just grounds me is my meditative practice. So every single morning I wake up at 4 a.m. I meditate first thing in the morning after I woke up, about like anywhere between like 30 minutes, like 20 to 30 minutes. And then I do the same activity before going to bed, 20 to 30 minutes. So when I said, the brain waves before going to sleep and when you wake up, that's the moment that your mind is the most assimilated to go help that unconscious mind and really to plug the things you need to plug. So that's the moment that really relaxes me, when I take that time to really just meditate and work on my mindfulness practices.
Yep. I love it. When you get that mindset straight, especially early in the morning and late at night, the rest of the day is productive, and then the next day it just snowballs from there.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Christopher, for being on the show. I greatly appreciate it. Can you let the listeners know the best way to get in contact with you?
Yes, absolutely. First of all, thank you, Anthony, for having me. This was really a pleasure and a lot of fun speaking to you. So the best way to really reach out to me is you can follow me on all social media at my name, at Christopher Dedeyan. So Christopher starts with CH, finishes with PHER. My family name is DEDEYAN. So Delta Echo Yankee Alpha November. And go check out my YouTube channel as well. Do a lot of book reviews, have a lot more things coming up on there, some vlogs and all that stuff. Have some great stuff in the works with my business and my speaking career. So I'm going to be posting a lot on those sites as well, on IG and all that stuff. So go check me out over there. If you guys want anything with my services for coaching or speaking, you can go on my website at ChristopherDedeyan.com and just shoot me an email through there, and the team will help you out with that.
Awesome. I recommend following him on social media. I do it personally, valuable content on there. Learn something new every day. So
Yes.
Thank you once again, Christopher, for being on this show. I totally appreciate it.
Thank you, Anthony. My pleasure, man. Have a great day.
You too.